So hello dear student, welcome back to this class. In this class we will cover the basics of aircraft propulsion. In the last class we have seen the basics of aerodynamics and we got the feel for lift and drag, but in order to move the aircraft forward we need a thrust, and thrust is provided by the engine that we'll discuss in this class in a very introductory manner, and that engine works on the principle of thermodynamics and cycles. Okay, we can start with the thermodynamics law, or we can divide the thermodynamics law starting from zeroth, first, second, and third law. Okay, so zeroth law states that if the two body individually are in equilibrium with the third body, then first two body will also be the in equilibrium. For example, like if this is a body A and this is a body B and this is has equilibrium with C, then this will also be in equilibrium. Okay. So we'll take the example related to the aircraft. So the first law, you can take the example as a cabin air, aircraft skin, and standard atmosphere for a zeroth law. First law states energy neither be created nor destroyed. It can transform to one form another form. We'll take the example in aircraft case. When you have some flying at altitude, if you put the throttle up, you will climb, right? So you are increasing your potential energy and decreasing your kinetic energy. Okay, and let's say even if you are flying at a constant altitude, so if your thrust is increased but you are not changing the altitude, you are maintaining the same altitude, so your potential energy will be same, and you are increasing the thrust, so potential energy is not changing but kinetic energy is increasing. So where the energy is going? According to the thermodynamic first law, it can be transformed from the one form to another form, right? So where the kinetic energy is going? It is going in the drag part. So if you increase the thrust, thrust will increase. So that is how the energy is dissipating. Drag is taking that part. Okay. And the second law states that the entropy of the system always increases. And last law, third law states that if the temperature goes to absolute zero, then entropy remains the constant. Okay. So we are talking about entropy here, right? So entropy can be written as a change in entropy will be always change in small, then you can write dq by. This you will use. I will tell you the example when I will cover the uh, Brayton cycle in this course, where you will see the increase in entropy. Okay. So total dq is a total energy that you can write as a internal energy plus p into dv. You can divide this by t. You will get, because my ultimate aim is to find what is ds actually, de by t and plus p by t into v. So what you can write, pv equal to rt, right? You have studied, right? So I can write p by t as a v by r, right? And dq by t I can write as a ds. Okay, this you can write. And internal heat you can write, change in internal heat cv at cv dt, specific heat at constant value. Okay, cv dt plus p by t, you can write v by r to dv. So by T. We can write ds equal to cv dt by T plus v dv by r dv by v. Let me check. Okay. P by T, R by V. Okay. R by V. CV dt, right? So you can integrate from point S entropy S1 to S2. You can write CV ln T1 to T2 plus R ln V V1 to V2. You have integrated this equation, right? You can get S2 minus S1 is CV T2 by T1 plus R ln V2 by V1. Okay. So if you know the pressure ratio, volume ratio and temperature ratio, internal heat and gas constant, you can find the delta change in entropy here. So similarly, you can write dq as a in terms of enthalpy minus v into dp. Then again divide by temperature T, you will have a T by v by T dp. Okay. So this dh you can write Cp dt, constant specific heat at constant pressure. Okay. And Pv equal to RT if you write, then from V by T you can write R by P. Please be with me, I will in later part of the lecture I will tell you the significance of what I am deriving here. Okay. You can write here ds. Okay. Then again if you integrate you will get S2 minus S1 Cp ln T2 by T1 minus R ln P2 by P. So here if you have a pressure ratio, specific heat at constant pressure and gas constant, you can find S2 minus S. Okay. And from the Mayer relation, you know Cp plus Cv equal to R. Okay. So in last derivation you have seen Cv ln T2 by C1 minus R ln V2 by V1, but here it is P2 by P1. In last expression you have Cv, but here Cp. So what is the relation between Cp and Cv? Cp plus Cv equal to R. Okay. So I will tell you the significance of this what so far we have derived here. Okay. Like in aerodynamics case, we have said that the father of aerodynamics is Ludwig Prandtl and father of aeronautics is Sir George Cayley. Here the father of rocket propulsion is Robert Hutchins Goddard. Okay. He is the man who successfully launched the world's first flight of a liquid propellant rocket. So for to explain how the aircraft fly, we should know at what principle you are getting the thrust. So it is Newton's third law. For every action there is a equal and opposite reaction. For example, this is a rocket. Okay, by burning of the fuel and oxidizer, it is coming through the nozzle, right? So hot gas is coming from the nozzle. Okay, so force on gases will be called an action. Okay, and force on the rocket will be reaction. So you are this part is action and what you are getting is a reaction. So thrust is a reaction force. Okay, that is how your rocket move upward, and when you have an aircraft you will take the air from the inlet, you will compress, then deliver to the combustion chamber. Combustion will take place, that will throw to the turbine and turbine will pass through the nozzle, where you will velocity will increase and the hot gases will come outside as a action, and you will get the thrust as a reaction. So now you can see what I have derived, right? Change in entropy, how this important roles plays here. So we should understand, apart from the thermodynamics law, we have to understand how the thermodynamic cycle is working. So here, for example, like a you have an inlet. I will show you the diagram of the inlet and a compressor, turbine, nozzle just after this slide. So first understand this, how this cycle works. This is the ideal Brayton cycle. You can see this. So from 0 to 3, inlet and compressor. Inlet means inlet, air will come through the inlet. From the inlet it will go to the compressor. Compressor, it will compress the air to attain a certain pressure ratio. Okay. From 0, 2 and 3, the temperature is increasing. So now what so far we have derived the delta S entropy change. You have a feel for the same, considering the aircraft engine cycle. So aircraft engine works at the Brayton cycle, ideal Brayton cycle. Okay, here I am shown the ideal Brayton cycle. You can see the temperature and entropy diagram here, and here pressure and velocity diagram. So before moving to this cycle, let's go how this compressor, inlet and all this work. Okay, we'll first discuss the engine part and then we'll go to the ideal Brayton cycle. Okay, now you can see in this diagram there is a piston engine. So piston and rotary, and here is a rotary engine. Okay, so this engine works on the principle of internal combustion. Okay, IC engine. And now here you can see the jet engine, where you see the inlet part. Inlet, in the inlet part, air is coming and is going in the compressor. The job of the compressor is to compress the air, increase the pressure to a certain ratio, so that the combustion can take place here. And here the hot gases will come in the turbine. Turbine here, after turbine there will be nozzle, and through the nozzle it will pass as a hot gases. Okay, and the hot gases will run the turbine, which is further used to run the compressor. So compressor and turbine are interconnected. Turbine, the job of the turbine is also used to run the compressor. And here you can see there is a particular shape, because when you see here area is more, here area is less. Okay, so you can take the example, if you have a water here, if you press the pipe, your water speed will increase, right? So this is how the nozzle also designed to increase the exhaust speed, right? And this is the turbofan engine. There is a little difference between the turbojet engine and turbofan engine. After the compressor, you will put one big fan, and you will get the two type of thrust. One is hot thrust, which is nothing but the similar to the turbojet, and one is the cold thrust, where you just bypass the air. Okay, so generally most of the commercial aircraft uses the turbofan engine. Okay, and now there is it is a turboprop engine, where the instead of fan you will put the prop here, and prop will produce the thrust similar to like compressor, combustion chamber and nozzle. Okay, you may notice here this part, combustion part, this part. So I said, as I said, that this compressor is used to attain the certain pressure ratio, and it will deliver this air to the combustion chamber, because you cannot directly have a combustion. You have to compress the air. Okay, then after a certain pressure ratio, for example 7, 8, 9, you have to deliver the air to the combustion chamber. Then only you will inject the fuel, and then the combustion take place, and you will, through the turbine, you will exhaust through the nozzle. Okay, but this combustion, if you somehow attain this compression ratio without the compressor and without the fan, you may have a combustion. This is the also case, right? So the ramjet and scramjet works on that principle, where you will not see any moving part, because but you have such a high velocity, and due to this shape you will get the pressure ratio at the combustion chamber. There if you inject directly fuel na, you will get the combustion. Okay, so that is how the ramjet and scramjet works. But it for starting you need to have a flight, you have to attain the Mach number greater than 1, then only you will be able to start the ramjet and scramjet engine. So you can see here inlet, compressor, combustion chamber, turbine, nozzle, this part is there, right? So all the cycle is going on here, right? Starting from inlet, then compression, then combustor, and then expansion through the turbine and nozzle, right? So now it's right time to explain the Brayton cycle. Okay. Now you understand about what the job of inlet, compressor, combustion, turbine and nozzle. Okay. Now from 0 to 2 you have a increase in temperature, and 2 to 3 you have increase in temperature, but entropy remains the constant. And after 3 to 4 is a combustion will take place. Okay. So now you will see there is a rise in temperature and rise in entropy. Okay. And similarly here from 4 to 5 in a turbine case you will have a drop in temperature, but entropy remains constant. And from 5 to 8 when you exhaust and the exhaust will reach to the ambient pressure, your temperature will drop, but entropy remains the constant only, right? And PV diagram also you can see from 0, okay, from 2 little pressure has been increased, and the job of the compressor is to increase the pressure, right? From 2 to 3 how the pressure is increasing, right? And in combustion you will take at a constant pressure. So that is isobaric process. So now I said isobaric. There will be the process like isochoric also, where the volume is constant. Isobaric means pressure is constant. Adiabatic means no heat transfer. Okay. Isothermal means temperature is constant. Okay. So like that you can define the different kind of process also. So here at a constant pressure the combustion will take place, and as you expand this gas through the turbine and nozzle, the pressure will drop. Okay. And finally you will attain the ambient temperature. The exhaust will attain the ambient pressure. Okay. So after final thrust can be written as a two-part change of momentum. Okay. AE PE minus PE. P is the exit pressure and PA is the ambient pressure, and A is the exit area. VA is the inlet velocity and V is the exit velocity, and M is the mass flow rate, and T is the total thrust. So if you have a more exit velocity, your thrust will be more. In turbojet, you can increase the mass ratio, mass flow rate, maintaining this VE into VA ratio same. So that is how you will get the total thrust. You can increase the thrust. So this is all about the propulsion. Okay. Thank you so much for this attending this class. Okay.